If you flipped any kind of mini skid steer, any kind of diesel machine, this is going to be the video for you. The specific machine we are talking about in this video is a Wacker Neuson SM100. Now, I don't typically get out in the field and do these type of things, but I love to be able to go out with a team every once in a while when a bad situation happens, on a day where we need to catch up, every month, every other month, get out and show that, hey, I can do more than just sell stuff and be in an office. I am skilled in working on stuff, and I know a lot about landscaping as well. I am not just the guy who sells things and buys stuff and tries to always grow this thing. I have a very diverse set of skills that I've gained from a long, long time. And what you're gonna see after I get through this initial piece are two separate chunks of video put together of our Wacker machine got pulled over by a palm when it was pulled out of the ground. It got pulled up and it swung a little bit. It was probably on just a little bit too much of an incline, and it pulled it over on its side. And a diesel engine, if you fire it back up with oil in the cylinders and one of the cylinders fires and it starts cranking, it can bend the rods in the engine. So I had to quickly figure out, what do we do? How do we get this out? What's the best course of action? And how do we get this taken care of? So I immediately grabbed my tools. The following day, I went over to the job site after it had been let to drain down and then broke right into it. And then these video clips, you're going to see exactly what we did and how we made this work, from pulling the valve cover off and showing that, and then getting the glow plugs out so we can blow all the oil out of the engine. Now that's the description, but the videos, so I talk about it and you get to see that as well. Because if I would have been able to see just this one video of just this machine, it would have made this super easy. I've got a friend who commented on a picture of this and said his guys had bent the rods at least once in his Wacker Neuson, and this video is purely to save people some serious time. And as I mentioned, this is not the typical video I do on this channel, but in the process of trying to bring value, I realized this is a moment where I could share with others value that will help you kick some more ass in your landscaping company or any company where you're using some kind of diesel machinery. Okay, so Wacker Neuson SM100. If you get in the situation where you've put one of these on the side and wanting to get it fired back up, and you're trying to figure out where the glow plugs are and how far you're going to have to go, so you don't have to do the homework I had to do just to see. Basically, you're going to take off the valve cover. It's really easy. You're going to take off all the long bolts out of the intake cover. You're going to leave the Phillips end to hold this piece, and then there's going to be 3 bolts along this side, and you're going to want to bump it so you don't break your gasket. Actually, you don't have to worry about your gasket. It's a rubber gasket on this, so they've got it set up to work on. Then you're going to get down to these. You're going to take the wire off the top, and then there's going to be there's a hole there, a hole there, and a hole there. You're going to pull those out and then start slowly bumping it over. Also, don't leave these paper towels in here. I just had this for work. She's good, ready to go. Fire it up, let the glow plugs warm up. Battery's a little bad on this one, but it's going. Most of the smoke's burned out of it now. We're going to check all the fluids, get it warmed up. But what we ran into that you're going to want to watch for if you do tip one of these little small machines on the side, especially this SM100. So I took the valve cover off. I took the glow plugs out. Like I said, leave in these little Phillips. They're to hold this plate because it's just the long bolts holding the valve, this cover. Long bolts in back, short bolts on these low ones. It's pretty self-explanatory if you've worked on some stuff. So the situation here, I took this off, blew all the oil out of it, but must have not cranked it long enough, or when the valves opened, it still had more pour back in. So I had to take the valve cover off a second time. That's why even if you've blown it all out and you start bumping it and you see the motor's not wanting to turn over, better safe than sorry. Get back in there and blow all that oil. Spend the time so it'll fire. Now everything's running good. Everything's rocking and rolling, and it's smoked out everything, and we're back up and operational. So I hope those clips helped you. That is the process. I can rehash that one more time on what happened there. I broke into this, and this is something I always like our employees to see, that I don't need to know what I'm doing to get broke into something. I love digging in and figuring it out along the way when it comes to building, when it comes to mechanics, whatever. It's what I've done my entire life. And I have a lot of confidence built over time that I will be able to figure it out, that I will be able to get through it. I'll be able to do it no matter what. So this process, I got in and I didn't initially know. I took off an intake cover for the actual where the turbo put all the air into the engine to get running. I took that off. That's where in the video I tell you don't take out those Phillips. Those are to keep that on. And then you just just take out the 10mm bolts for the valve cover. Then you take out the other 10mm bolts for the valve cover after you get the breather and the other things off, and you're able to pull that valve cover off and get directly to the glow plugs. This is where you're going to want to be very, very careful. Make sure you don't have potential for stuff to fall down in the engine, the little nut that holds on the electro or the electric wire on the glow plug. All right, so I keep losing video. I had to keep recording this in piece. But all those things can fall down in the engine, and you want to make sure that you don't lose a little glow plug nut down there or anything, because even bigger problems would be if you got something inside the engine. So this is what you have to do to get this thing running. You're going to want to make sure you really get all the oil out of it. That's where I messed up. Didn't get it all out the first time, but I was real gentle with bumping it, and I could tell it was having a hard time turning over. So I broke it back down and did it again. Hope this saves you some problems and challenges and struggles with this, because there was no videos about the SM100 with this specific situation that I could find. And now that I know, it's super freaking easy. Anybody could do this. You just need to be a little bit careful, use just a little bit of common sense, and you won't have any issues, because your biggest issue will be getting the machine back up on its side if you don't have anything that big to lift it back up. So hope this helped. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.